talk will last for an hour like this, right? Because I only plan about an hour's content, maybe plus and minus, and then 15 minutes for questions, if there is any.
Okay, that's great. Let's get started here. And we'll have people come in as we go through.
Yeah, okay.
Sound good, Evelyn?
Okay. So, yeah, good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming in and attend this talk on Tuesday. I know Tuesday is quite a very hectic day for those who are working, but still, you all come in and attend the talk. Thank you very much. So today's talk is on Towards Zero Defect Quality products. Why I choose this topic? Because as a quality engineering professional for many, many years, a lot of times, I'm sure that if those are in the corporate world, they will be told we have to achieve zero quality products. And normally, quality organization or the quality department head has to go and figure out how to achieve zero defect quality. Okay, so today's talk, what I have prepared for you guys is the outline for today's talk is we start with introduction and the perception of zero defects. What contributes to zero defects? What are the factors that really contributes to zero defect? The conclusion, and we will have a 15 minutes of Q&A session. Hopefully, we can finish this talk in 1 hour, 15 minutes. Okay. So let's go through an introduction. Normally, we have customers and they will only buy one product. Customers here is referring to the end consumer. Okay, so most of the time, end consumer will only buy one product, and we have to ensure that that product function. And in the supply chain, I think the end consumer should have the biggest voice because they are the one that really is giving the real revenue to the whole entire supply chain. And customer satisfaction is very important. Don't you think so? And zero defect is also every organization's dream because if they know that customers are happy with the products, they will return for more of the product and they will become the loyal customers of the company. And this is where the revenue comes from, and the quality of the product is very important. And what happened is that the company will normally, or the management of any company will normally strive for zero defect products, no matter where you are or what organization or what products that you produce. Okay. So let's look at what are the obstacles that really prevent us from achieving zero defect. Let me do a poll here with the participants that has the company really achieved zero defect, or any of you has really achieved zero defect before? Can I have a 1 if you have consistently achieving zero defect? You can put in the chat here so that I can have a look. Please says no, definitely no, not. Any other participations? For those that did not participate means that you have achieved zero defect. Is that true? Anyone? Okay, we only have 1 participation. How about the rest? Okay, CC says that in a limited way, but not as a company. Mr. Kaur says that can producer warranty zero defect? Oh, that would very much depends on the producer themselves, what the company's business direction for the warranty, for the product warranty. Any others? It seems that I think nobody has really able to achieve zero defect. Depending on, okay. Okay, so from the chat here, I can gather that I think no one has achieved a zero defect before, because I don't see a one. Okay, so let's go through in the subsequent slides. What are the obstacles that will prevent us from achieving zero defect? And also, I would say that zero defect also becomes like a pain point and nightmare for any organization. I would think that especially for the quality department, right? Sometimes the management comes back to you that, you need to have a quality improvement of maybe from 1000 ppm to 500 ppm, and after you have achieved 500 ppm, they will ask for 200 ppm, and then finally to Six Sigma quality. And after that, even for one reject, they are looking for an answer, looking for, corrective actions from you as well, even for one defect. So it has become like a nightmare, a pain point for the quality organization. How many of y'all has faced this problem in a corporate world or in quality organization where management asking for zero defect, and also this responsibility becomes the main responsibility, especially for the quality people? Can I see in the chat here that how many of you has this problem? Yeah. Okay, me. Yeah, Jeffrey, thanks for your answer. How about the rest? Anyone from the corporate world here? No? Okay, yeah, I can understand that. All the time requested. Even sometimes when the supplier quality manager of the customers can be a bit unreasonable as well. Yeah, true. I do agree that it must be realistic, zero defect. But it's not achievable, right? Okay, we shall see why it's not achievable later. I will answer all these questions as well from the perspective of manufacturing and also from supply chain concept. Okay. So good, thanks for interacting with me. Okay, so allow me to introduce myself first before I go into what contributes to zero defect. My name is Evelyn Tan. I'm from Penang, Malaysia. I think most of you have heard of where Penang is, and I think all of you knows where Malaysia is. I've served the corporate world in multi-industries, such as food industries, electronics, aerospace for the past 30 years. And my career progresses from an engineer to a position in management before I left the corporate world. I left the corporate world in 2020, which is partly due to COVID and also partly because of my wish to also leave the corporate world at that time of doing something else with, the advancement in the technology and also in social media where I can reach to more people rather than just to confine in a corporate world. So a major part of my career is actually spent managing suppliers, quality. So I have the privilege to travel around the world for auditing suppliers, visiting suppliers all around the world from Asia. Most of the East Asia parts to America and also to Brazil. And I like teaching, so I also volunteer as a trainer besides my daytime job as supplier quality to the organization I serve to teach those quality tools which I've applied to manage suppliers and achieve consistently good quality products. I have also worked with people like Samsung, LG, Toshiba, Sanyo, Sony, all these names, and mostly in LCD, liquid crystal display, battery technology, and some other industrial products as well. And I have, upon my retirement from the corporate world, I have never really retired. I have already written 4 books, which is available in Amazon. And also I have created a lot of courses at Udemy and also 2 YouTube channels to share my experiences in what I've learned from the 30 years of managing many suppliers, visiting over hundreds of suppliers' manufacturing process. And I hope that all this knowledge will be able to share, because we have a lot of book knowledge regarding quality engineering. I think in this new norm, in this new world, where everything is moving very, very fast, we will need to share those applied knowledge. That means those skills and experience will be even more valuable than just to share book knowledge of like Six Sigma. It's more on the experience of applying Six Sigma, Lean, and all these quality tools, and also understand the manufacturing process, such as now we are talking about zero defect, and from the real life experience, how we want to achieve it. Is it a myth or a reality? So let's go through the second topic we have here on zero defect. Okay, let me ask the perception of zero defect. In fact, do you think that, okay, let me just go through first. Yeah, we know this guy is right. Everybody knows Philip Crosby. Give me a yes if y'all know this guy in the chat. Have you seen him before, heard of him? One of the most famous quality gurus besides Deming and Duran. Anyone? Yeah, give me a yes if I have heard of Philip Crosby. Hello?
Read his book.
Oh, you read his book. Okay, good.
Zero Defect.
Yeah, Zero Defects, right? Yeah.
That was like 30 years ago.
Yeah, that's why you're here. Okay. Philip Crosby is from the 1960s. And from his definition of quality conformance to requirements is that he looked at newcomers to manufacturing, brings their own vague impressions of what quality involves. So he really focused on manufacturing. And the system of quality is prevention, which is also focused on defect-free production, right? For those who read his book, you will know that production, manufacturing, these are focusing on the manufacturing process. And the performance standard zero defects, because he was from the post-World War era, and at the time, US was building up their automobile industries in the industrialization, modern industrialization age. So they have a lot of manual process workers that comes in and work to assemble the products, to manufacture the products. So he looks at it that his quality of zero defects is from the workmanship, from the manufacturing process at that era, at that time. So basically, actually this video is about, this is quite a more recent video. This is about zero defect as well. And this company is trying to sell the zero defect solution. And to them that what they can they look at is from the manufacturing line perspective, where they will have a more modern sensor in place and sounds more like Industrial Revolution 4.0, which means that they are focusing, and to everyone's perception is that actually manufacturing line is the main contributor of the zero defect. This is what I'm trying to say about the perception of who contributes to the zero defect. So I would like to know that if you guys agree that manufacturing line is the only factors that contributes to the zero defect. If yes, give me a yes. If no, then just give me a no. Yes, that's right. There are more factors than this. So that means that even though we have Industrial 4.0 in the future, that will not really solve the problem of zero defect as well. I'm glad to see the answer as no, because that's not the only thing that contributes to the zero defects. And also, what was talked about zero defect and the literature or the reference material that is available today mainly is from Philip Crosby on the zero defect, where he also thinks that manufacturing is the one that contributes to zero defect or contributes to the product defects, which today I think we know that it is not. So my next question is that what really contributes to the product quality? Let's look at what the impacts or what the areas that really impacts product quality. There are three main areas here that impacts the product quality. Number one is design. Second is the supply chain itself, the material or the whole, not only just incoming material, but the concept of the whole supply chain. I will go through this with you all later. And also the manufacturing process, which is always the focus. So let's go through the design parts. I would think that product design should be the major consideration in contributing or the major factors that contributes to a product quality. When we look at it, the design or the product development team or a company or management tends to look at more on product features. They give a lot of focus on the product features and also time to market. And therefore, there are a lot of things that is also neglected in the product quality, because we know that quality has to blend into the product itself. And the world is really haunted by poor design product. Don't you agree? We have a lot of poor design products around us, right? Because in the past, even till today, we still have this traditional silo of over-the-wall approach when we design the products. When a company designs the product, it means that they will start with the concept, the development phase, where the main team of design, engineering, and marketing here means that they will focus only on product features and also time to market. And they are like secret society. They do not want to let too many people to be involved, because the more people that are involved in the product design, they will need to have more work of designing the quality, and it could also hinders or it could be an obstacle to the main metrics of product features or what customers want. Because customer wants as many things as possible. And at the same time, the time to market, which is the main metrics, will be impacted. And this is what they do not want. And in design validation, we still have more of design engineering and maybe the process procurement team coming in. And finally, we have the prototype where maybe the design is happening somewhere else in other part of the world where they will design accordingly. And after that, they will have a pilot build maybe in another part of the world or with contract manufacturers. They will just throw it over the wall. Means that I design it, you build it, and with the hope that the manufacturing process can compensate for whatever design flaws they have. And finally, during the launch phase, then only you realize that quality does not come in until very late, right? For those that are more successful company, I think they will have quality already involved during the concept and development phase. If you are in this type of companies, then I would really like to congratulate you for that, for being in this type of company. Let's look at what is concurrent engineering is actually very important in design for manufacturability. And by right, this should be practiced rather than over-the-wall approach. It is really a contrast here. So concurrent engineering will have the design of the products being considered at every aspect during the product development stage. That's why it's called defects. X stands for all these multiple function of design for assembly, design for manufacturability, design for quality, design for service, and design for disassembly. That means you wanted the products to be easily disassembled as well. That means easy to rework if there's any. And all these stakeholders, everyone, in fact, the best is to engage customers where possible to be in part of this team and plan in all the desirable attributes which will result in optimizing the manufacturing process. So this is part of the contributors to a product quality and also towards zero defect products. Next is that for design of manufacturability, we shall look at it from a more detailed perspective where we should cover all aspects of the product. As just now we have said that design concurrently, and this product design should be evaluated for everything. That means not only for product features and cycle time, but also optimum product cost and with the highest possible quality. Because we say that customers only buys or the end consumer only buys one product and make sure that the one product has zero defect. And there should be a considerable amount of planning into the manufacturing process as well to achieve the best quality product after quality has been designed in. And we shall also need to create those product designs that are insensitive to process inputs, because in order to do manufacturing, we will have process inputs, the transformation process, and also process output. So in this process input, there will be variations, and it must have those features that robust enough to also be able to cover or be able to compensate for those long-term process variations, those fluctuations, the common cost variations, if we call it, And at the same time, manufacturing and test engineers also should influence the product designs, make it manufacturable and testable. You will be surprised that actually some of the products, especially electronics products, some of them are not testable. Because test, although it's also important to ensure that there's a check and balance. Remember, our aim is to the end consumer, and at least it will minimize the cycle time and also uses a robust manufacturing method. Therefore, this concurrent engineering will optimize the relationship between our design function, the manufacturability, ease of assembly, which will result in a consistently or at least towards a zero defect output. So design for manufacturability principles will include that the parts should be designed as simple as possible so that it will reduce the complexity in the supply chain and also in the manufacturing process. The simpler the product is, I think is the better, right? Do you agree to that? Everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, as I said, that it's simple to transform, simple to manufacture, and also another factors that we will need to look into is the availability of raw material. How many times, I'm sure that if you work in manufacturing line for a very long time, you will realize that how many times that you have product quality due to supplies issues, right? So this is also very important that we will need to look into the raw material itself. And I shall stress about that in the consecutive slides as well. These are the main principles. Definitely, there will be other factors related to this, and we shall go through these three for today. Next, we will look at the manufacturing process. So let's understand a little bit about manufacturing process itself. In the manufacturing process, we will always have the process input, which is our 5 M's and 1 E, right? Or the 6 M if you want to put this as a mother nature. And also the process itself to transform into the outputs that we want. In the process inputs, we will have man, the operator itself, the machine, the methods, the materials, and the measure. The measure is related to the finished goods itself. That measurement process is also a variation, as you all know. That's why we will need to perform GR&R, and also the environment if your product is sensitive to certain environment. All these process input will have their own variations, right? And all these variations inputs through a transformation process will contribute to the outputs variations as well. In other words, if you have good inputs, then you will have good outputs. That means have garbage in, that means garbage out here. Okay, so in manufacturing process, we want to control all these inputs to have as little variation as possible in here, control, and then we will need to monitor the outputs because we cannot control the outputs anymore. We can only control the inputs. Agree? And these are the focus area in the process input that we will need to control. This is some of the main one that I put in here. I have more detailed one, and I will put, I have a present for everyone here today about the blueprint of process input, what to control. Later on, I will put it in the chat, the link where you can download this process input blueprint, okay? And also, actually, you can also get this also from this book everything on how to control a manufacturing process in order to get a consistently good quality product. So for men, we will have training, certification program, and also workforce stability, which is very important because we do not want to change. This will be more stable. The more stable the workforce is, the less variation you have contribution from the man itself. The machine is about qualification, preventive maintenance, so that we will control the drift and the shift of the manufacturing equipment itself, the methods, the process management plan, the work instruction, make sure they are consistent, standardized, the measuring process, which include also tests and inspection of the products. And environment will be depends on your product's needs. Some products, like medical products, they need clean room environments. Some they need less humidity, dry area like battery processing, especially the electrode plating or electrode process, and also the temperature. I did not put in, do you realize that I did not put in materials here? Because material itself is another big topic on its own, which I will go through in the subsequent slide as well. Any questions so far? Okay, if not, I will go into the next one, which is material. We will look at material itself. Okay, so we have already learned that the key process input in manufacturing, and now we are concentrating on materials. So in terms of materials, we would like suppliers' early involvement and procurement's early involvement as well. Because for materials, we must understand the concept of supply chain. You see one material that comes into your manufacturing plant, but in fact, actually they come from a long supplier process here, right? For this supply chain. For example, in a smartphone, we could have until 6-7 tiers before the final smartphone can be assembled. And all these tiers from mining to manufacturing into sheet metals, and then into some kind of a product like wafer, like forming it into a semi-finished product, till the sub-assembly and the final assembly. All these things go through manufacturing process. That means in this world, there is no more entity, there's no one entity that can manufacture a product end-to-end from mining, from nature itself, from the product to the finished goods. Therefore, all these supply chains will also contribute to the variations as well. And this is also contributing to the parts quality. If there is any weak link in a supply chain, I do not know whether you have known of Kobe Steel incidents many years ago, I think about 4 or 5 years ago, where there's a weak link, means that they are the sheet metal or the upper tier suppliers, but in fact, their actions have potentially impacted those manufacturers in automobile and also maybe in aerospace industries, where they use metal as a main products, as a mechanical structures as well. So any poor quality material, weak link along this tier will actually impact the consumer or the end product itself downstream. That means from upstream to downstream. And therefore, this is where the supply chain management comes in. We have like suppliers performance management in supply chain, supply risk management, identify supply risk, and also the source out material. And preferably, we want to source material from a sustainable source. Means that there will be less quality issues. And lastly, of course, this is my favorite subject where supply quality management comes in, that will eventually manage suppliers in terms of quality, in terms of the supply quality indices, how their parts perform, the corrective actions and the preventive action, and through suppliers audit. This is where the 7 essentials I've created from my many years of experience in supplier quality management. I have created a framework of 7 essentials areas in supplier quality management, which I have actually put it in a book. Yeah, the 7 essentials area that enable you to achieve consistently good quality product. Anyone that is interested, I have also put it into the course at Udemy, and I will give you an offer today for $9.99. I will give you a code that where you can click in, which has all the link that I talk about in this talk here later on. Okay, so the conclusion for zero defect products will be that we will need to have a very holistic approach in zero defect, starting from the product design, the material itself, transformation process, and also our customers. In fact, customers' usage is also part of the factors that impact the product quality. Therefore, all this upstream process has to take into consideration on how customers use the product and design it robust enough for the customer's usage environment. And I would think that product design will be the biggest obstacle to a zero defect. As just now, I've started the questions on this. Is there anyone that would like to say that besides product design, if you do not think that product design is the biggest obstacle, what are the things that you guys think that will be the biggest obstacle to zero defect? Anyone? Hello? Okay, lack of feasibility. Yeah, Fatil, can you elaborate what is lack of feasibility? And I would think that the organization has a main role to play in zero defect. First of all, the decision to make that how complex is your supply chain? Yeah, can't do work efficiently. That one is more for manufacturing, right? Kalion. And then most of the organization, they only focus on product features. Yes, I agree. Yeah, CC, I agree. That's right. Lack of understanding. This is also one of the things. And also hope that the manufacturing process could compensate for those lack of during the design stage. And I would say that zero defect is actually a game of a mindset itself to understand what is the causes that will contribute to the zero defect, and also the action that needs to take to get towards zero defect. Okay, so yeah, if you are interested to know more about zero defect, these are, I have some YouTube videos on this one. And also let me just put in the link here. Yeah, in the chat where you can access to all these things that just now I talked about. from available in my website, that all the links that you can connect with me through linking. And also, this is the free process input. I don't have to put, this is the reason why I'm trying to link up the whole talk as well. I just put in one link here, and then all the links that's available is actually in this one page, and where you can go and download all this free process input that I talked about just now, and also my YouTube channel, especially on the Zero Defect video, and also this course, which you can get it at $9.99 USD, and also some of the other things that you can get from here. And this is my website, which also I talk about the process input in details as well. So here, yeah. So I would like to know that if y'all have any questions, Q&A for this session. Let me check the chat now, if any question is given. Let me just look at the top part because I've seen some questions. Yeah, Fatil, how could be managed customer having unlimited dissatisfaction? Should suppliers accept everything from customers, and how should they react systematically? Okay, this one I want to answer in a way that we need to look at it that, why customers, we have to understand why customers is having unlimited satisfaction in the first place. Because actually customers, normally they do not make noise unless there's something that triggers them to make noise. So you have to go and understand your customers, what sort of quality level that you are giving them. And also, we as a suppliers, if we are talking from the suppliers mentality, then I would think that not to say that in the victim mindset of accepting everything, we should need to analyze the complaint, understand their usage environment, and only we look at how we can improve, even though we cannot improve it from the product design, because some products and medical products, they have a lot of rules and regulations. It's impossible for you to redesign those products, and it will take a long time. So what is the fastest ways that you can give a zero defect to customers? That's the most important point. So that's why the mentality of zero defect is meant from the end customer or the consumer itself. Did I answer your question, Fatil? Next is core. Can producer warranty zero defect? I have already answered just now. I think producers, that will depends on what industries that you comes from. Normally, I think producers, especially for the consumer products, producer will warranty zero defect because they will give a period where if you have defects relating to the manufacturing parts, they will give you the warranty, right? However, for the upper tier suppliers, like that means from the sub-tier, sub-assembly suppliers to the assembly manufacturers like OEM itself, then that will depend on the agreed PPM level that in the procurement contract. So it depends on which tier of the supply chain that you come from. Okay, what are the steps involved to bring zero defects? I think the presentation itself has answered that. Questions? If not, you can watch my YouTube video that also talk about zero defects. So the fastest way to achieve at least a defect-free product on, not to say zero defects, from the customer's point, you have to test it out. And then that means the test has to be robust enough already. How do we know the inputs that become the outputs that we desire? Okay, Kalion, this one is you have to do design of experiments. Then you will know what are the process input that is become a desirable process output. You can also visit my website, which I talk about design of experiments that will test out which inputs will infect the outputs that we desire. Or if you control everything well, with less variation, definitely you will have, the good output. And also this one is through the experience that you have with the industry, the subject matter experts, or what inputs that, have the most impact on the outputs. And through and after that you spin out what are the factors that's important, then you do a DOE based on the desired outputs, the metrics that you want to measure. Okay, what are the statistical? Okay, first of all, I would like to state that statistical process control does not reduce variation. They are just a monitoring tools on the key metrics of the product itself. From the data or the signal of the chart itself, then only you act accordingly. That's why I say action is important to reduce the variation and thus reduce the defect of the products. Okay, defects happens along different time frame in its life. How to define zero? Okay, the best is that in a modern manufacturing, we would like quality planning to be in the development phase, so that in the different product life cycle, throughout the life cycle, you will have less problem. And the zero defect here is meant for the end consumer. Okay, any other questions? I hope I have answered all the questions. Yes, okay. Hello, everyone. I think I can unmute now and answer me, because I did not hear interaction. I do not know whether am I answering your question well enough. I at least put it in the chat here. Hello?
I think so there, Evelyn.
Okay, good.
Seems like you're getting some thumbs up and yes and good and thanks. So I think you're good here.
Yeah, okay, good. All right. So, yeah, as I said, as I promised just now that thank you for spending time with me this evening. I have a free gift here. You just go to the link that I've given you here. Everything will be there, all the reference material that is needed. And then even this, all this link is here that you can go and download. So, and also, if you are linking, I would appreciate a connection through linking. I always welcome new connection. I always like to reach out, like Geoffrey, I also reach out to him to be connected. And I'm glad that I connect with him to give me an opportunity here to give this talk. So I'm very thankful to SQI for organizing this talk this evening. And I hope that I will have a future opportunity to see y'all again. Y'all can also join my Telegram channel. I also give some coaching on career, because been 30 years in the corporate world. One of my passion is also to share some tips about career, about the corporate world as well. How can we navigate it well, do not have the victim mentality, so that we are happier in our work. Once we are happier in our work, we will perform better. Don't you all think so? Yes, I know, Kaliang.
I would agree with that.
Connected. Yeah, with all the positive mindset, everything is possible. Okay, so that's all. Thank you very much. Thank you, SQI. Thank you, Yan Seng, Geoffrey, and also Jackson, Vivian, for organizing this talk.
Yeah, I think before we close up here, I'd like to invite everyone to turn on their camera if they're able to, and
Yes.
we can have a kind of a group photo here.
Yeah, let me stop sharing here. I'm turning on yes. Oh, Kaliang, I see you for the first time. Nice to meet you.
Hello, Evelyn. Yes.
Yes. Oh, dear. Okay. Yeah, let me just find my snip tools, and then yeah, say cheese, everyone. Hold on for a while. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, everyone.
So before we finish up here, Evelyn, I'd like to thank you as from our SQI committee appreciate you spending your time tonight sharing knowledge and participating in our interest group sessions. I really appreciate it. And as a token of our appreciation, we'd like to offer you a complimentary membership to SQI. So we can talk offline about the logistics of that, but thank you very much for contributing to the knowledge of our association.
Yeah, I really appreciate as well. Thank you. And glad to, meet all the great people here tonight. Very happy.
Definitely. Is there any final questions or comments anyone wants to make before we finish up here?
Yeah, and also thank you my guests for calling in as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Just want to say thank you, Evelyn.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
We can
Hope to
finish
see
up
you
here.
in the
Have a good
future.
night, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, bye-bye.